Hey, good evening. Welcome to the call. Hello, hello. Epifania, Ethan. Thank you very much, Ethan. Likewise, Raul. Good evening, good evening. Welcome, Glenn, Maria. Bienvenidos. Mr. Fred Powell. Hello, hello. Judy, Olga, Evelyn, Helaman, Marian, Dad, and Miss Disney. I always see you on the calls. I don't know your name. I'll just call you Dad. Hello from North Carolina. Shireen. Patty is in the house. Look at that. Lita. All right. Let me know in the chat if you're ready to learn how to trade like a pro. Who's ready to trade like a pro? Right? Yes. This is serious stuff here. This is a business, right? We're not here to play around. We're not here to be amateurs. All right. So I'm going to hop right in. I've given about a minute or two for people to make sure that they're joining us. And Coach Tim, obviously at any time, sir, feel free to interject here. I do want to let the community know, this is important, that many of you have seen how broad our team is behind the scenes, right? You hear the names, you see the names on the panelist menu, and there's a lot of contributors. And I've mentioned Coach Tim Phillips' name several times. He's contributed tons of value to the project behind the scenes with lots of really amazing insights and ideas and reminders. And I'll say this, that I give him credit for being very adamant with me, even with my own trading, on using a position size calculator. So a position size calculator, for short, we're going to call it a PSC. All right, a PSC. A lot of things in trading, we try to abbreviate them because there's a lot of terms. In fact, we're going to be coming out with a glossary of terms for everyone to make sure that you understand the abbreviations, right? Understanding, comprehending what we're sharing is super important. But I used to not use a position size calculator. And I would attribute that to my personality type. I'm not a scientific person. I'm not a very technical person. I'm not tech savvy. I've always been intimidated by technology. I didn't grow up with technology. And so I've stayed away from having to use programs or devices or things that I'm not familiar with. I try to wing it. I try to circumvent. And maybe you can relate to me. But I learned that if you're serious about trading, you have to use a position size calculator. And we're going to get into the reasons why. And so me being a non-tech savvy person who was intimidated by this stuff, a person who oftentimes wings it, I feel like I'm a talented person. If I want to learn something, I feel like I can learn it rather quickly. And what that does sometimes is it gives me a false sense of confidence, which is actually arrogance, where I would trade without it. And my lot sizes were random. Sometimes I'd up the lot size, sometimes I'd lower the lot size, but still my trading plan was random. Now, guess what? I was still profitable, but my confidence level was not nearly as high as what it is now. My confidence is so high because I use a position size calculator now on all my trades, I know how much I'm risking on every trade. I know what my target of profit is on every trade. And it's very reassuring. And you know what I've learned is when you can become reassured in your trading and when you can minimize the uncertainty and when you can have a confidence that's substantiated, you'll do so much better in trading. The more you can still the mind. Emotions are your worst enemy. Uncertainty, fear, and doubt, panic. Those are your worst enemies when it comes to trading. And guess what? The more you have a plan, the more you prepare and equip yourself with the right tools and the right resources to trade successfully, the more you'll mitigate all of those enemies of doubt and uncertainty and panic, right? The more tools you use, you'll reassure yourself and you'll have confidence in knowing why you're confident. So I can't stress that enough. So we're going to get into a few, these are sobering realities. And most of you are ready to hear this, right? I'm going to be a little bit firm with you tonight, but that's because, look, we want to know if you're serious. We're not here to play around. We're not here to help you make an extra $20 this month. We're not here to help you lose money. We're not here to allow you to become one of those average statistics of how most people lose money in trading. We're here to blow people away, okay? And to blow yourself away. Now, why should you use a PSC? Why should you use a position size calculator? First off, trading without one is just gambling. It really is. Now, let me explain why is it gambling. If you don't use a very specific and consistent risk to reward plan where you're risking the same amount of percentage of your account balance on every trade, then you're just gambling. That's it, right? So first you got to ask yourself, do you want to just be a gambler or do you want to be a trader? Because those are not the same thing. Trading is not gambling. Trading is a science. Trading is math. And trading is calculated. And without a position size calculator, you're not using any science. You're not being a professional and you're not calculating anything. You're just gambling. Now, I'll prove to you right now why it's gambling. You don't know when you're going to win a trade and you don't know when you're going to lose a trade. So if you're using the same lot size on all your trades, then guess what? Your risk on each trade is going to vary because the amount of risk you have on the trade depends on when you got into the trade and where your stop loss is at. So if you're using the same lot size, then that means sometimes your entry and your stop loss will be close together. And then sometimes your entry and your stop loss will be further apart. So with the same lot size, that means sometimes your risk will be small and sometimes your risk will be big. And it's going to be random and you'll have no idea when it's going to be big or when it's going to be small. Now, when you trade like that, what if you win all of your small RR setups, and I'll explain what that means, and then you lose all of your big RR setups? So what does that mean? It means that what if on all the trades where you have a tighter setup, that means you're using the same lot size, but you have a tighter setup, which in that case, you're going to be in less profit when the market goes in your favor, which is the exact opposite of what you want to be doing. So let's say on your smaller profitable trades, those are the ones you're winning. And then on the trades where that gap is bigger, where you have a bigger setup and you're using the same lot size, those are the ones you lose. Think about that. So basically what I'm saying is imagine if you're just using the same lot size or you're just using random lot sizes, then imagine you're leaving yourself up to chance to where whenever the gap between your entry and stop loss is big, that means your risk is big because you're not calculating your risk properly. And then those are the trades you lose. And then whenever the gap between your entry and stop loss is small, that means your risk is small. Those are the ones you're winning, right? You don't want to leave yourself up to that chance. And truthfully, let me tell you something. That's how an amateur trades. An amateur doesn't track. An amateur just wings it, right? I've been there. Okay. You want to track your risk. All right. And you don't want to leave your trading up to chance. Now, another thing is there's no true way to plan your profits. You know what that means is that without a position size calculator, you don't even know if you could be profitable or not. There's no way. It's impossible to know if you're ever going to be profitable. Now, guess what? 95% of people lose money when they trade. 95% of all traders, right? There's over 10 million people in the world today trading in the financial markets now on a daily basis, just like you and I. And over 95% of them are not profitable. I guarantee you that if you go talk to 99.99% of the 95% of the crowd that are not profitable, go talk to them. And if they're like, yeah, man, trading's so hard. I don't know how to manage my emotions. I don't know why I just keep losing. I'm looking for the right indicator, looking for the right coach. Go talk to these people and ask them, what's your risk to reward plan? And what percentage of risk are you risking on your calculator? They'll go, what's that? Right? They won't even know how to answer you because they don't do their due diligence. They don't take time to investigate how to become a professional, or, hey, giving someone the benefit of the doubt, maybe they just don't know. Right? But I'm sharing this knowledge with you tonight so that you have no excuse to not be a professional. But let me tell you something. You need to look at the correlations that link all of the people who lose all the time and what distinguishes them from the people that are profitable. I'll tell you that a position size calculator is one of the greatest distinctions between people who lose all the time and people who know how to be profitable. All right. You see right here, point number 3, minimize your emotions. If you're not calculating every single trade, then guess what? You really don't know how much you're going to lose on that trade, especially if you don't use a stop loss. Oh my gosh, forget about it. That uncertainty will cause your mind to panic because you don't know what your real risk is. You don't know what percentage that is on your account. And it's the uncertainty that causes you to make mistakes when you're trading. You ever push the button when you didn't want to push the button? You ever cost averaged more times than what you wanted to? Have you ever risked more than what you wanted to? All of those behavior flaws come from when the mind is full of fear, panic, and uncertainty. Guess what causes your mind to be full of fear, panic, and uncertainty? It's when you're not using a stop loss and then when your trade's not calculated. When you have a stop loss and you're using a specific calculation on every trade, you know exactly what the worst case scenario is. The worst case scenario is you're going to lose that trade, but you know exactly how much you're going to lose. And you've already agreed that you're willing to risk that amount on your account before you get into the trade. So guess what? When the market's going against you, sure, it's unfortunate. It's like, oh man, it doesn't look like I'm going to win this trade. But guess what? You don't have panic. You don't have fear, and you don't have uncertainty. And protecting yourself from those 3 enemies will train you and give you the space that you need to not make stupid mistakes when you're trading, like over leveraging your account and over cost averaging and revenge trading and risking huge amounts of your account, right? It makes a world of a difference. You want to trade with intelligence. And that's by having a risk to reward plan. And the last thing is find out if you can be profitable or not. If you use a position size calculator, you will be able to know if you can be profitable or not. Now I'm going to say something. This is my opinion. Okay. My opinion is that if you use a position size calculator and you trade with the system that we're going to teach you, it is of my opinion that you can't lose. Oh my gosh, you can't lose. You know, Tim Phillips, myself, as well as a lot of other people that are on the development side of our project, we've already back tested, forward tested, documented, and confirmed that up till now, if you follow this plan, not only would you be profitable, but you'd be mega profitable so far. I can't guarantee the future, But I can tell you that I believe that the future will look like the past. Oh, what's going to happen tomorrow? Probably a lot of what happened today. What are the charts going to look like on Thursday? Probably pretty similar to the way they look like today, right? The markets have certain patterns. They have certain ranges of movement, right? And so we've already back tested and forward tested this theory in real market conditions for months and months and months. And guess what? It's mind blowing on how profitable someone would be if they just stuck to the plan. So let me ask you this in the chat. How would you like to trade with a plan where you knew that as long as you stuck to the plan, you could not lose? How would you like to have that plan? Right? You can't lose. Now, this is what that means. You may lose some of your trades. In fact, you may lose a majority of your trades. But guess what? Over time, when you look back at the week, when you look back at the month, your balance cannot go down if you follow the plan consistently. It can only go up. And I'm going to prove that to you on this call. All right. And this is what's going to separate this community, the level of education, the resources and tools that we're putting in your hands from everyone else out there in the world. Because everyone else out there, every other trading program, I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on my trading education. I've used every indicator. I've bought all the courses. I've done all the automatic systems. I mean, man, I have done it. You know what? Everything out there, they throw you against the wall and they see if you stick. And they don't equip you. They don't empower you. They don't hold you by the hand. They don't follow up with you. They don't take you step by step every single day through coaching and through mentorship to make sure you can succeed. Look, we are responsible for you. Now you're also responsible for yourself, but we take ownership of your success. We take pride of our program, and we're going to do everything in our power to make sure you succeed. You know why? Because you represent me, right? I've been a major contributing factor to this project. If you're a part of that project, you know what I want? I want you out there bragging about it. I don't want people out there talking bad about the system, because that's a reflection on me. Right now, I can't control everyone's sentiment, but overall, look, if we're doing a good job in mentoring you and coaching you and equipping you with the right tools, then you will be out there giving good reviews on our system. And that's what we want. We want to build a good reputation in the marketplace. All right. So we're going to go to the charts. Now,
Hey, Sal, if I could interrupt you real quick.
Yeah, please go for it.
There seem to be a couple people that are having an issue seeing your screen. I don't know if you can direct them on what they might need to do to make that work.
Okay, I did have the screen paused, and I just reshared it. So can you guys see my screen now? Those of you that couldn't before? Okay. Yeah, I did have it paused. Yeah, so if someone hopped on while it was paused, then they wouldn't have caught the feed yet. So there we go. Yeah, thanks for that. Very important. I want to make sure you guys are following along. So here's what we're going to do. So we sent out instructions in the chats on this lot size calculator here. Now, this is a generic free third-party lot size calculator. Again, this is something I have to give credit to Mr. Tim Phillips. He shared it with me. He shared a few of them, and we went through the pros and cons of different ones. This one is really simple. And let me tell you something. Before the end of this call, again, I'm going to blow your mind when you find out what we're actually building for the community. This right here is a temporary solution, but it's more than enough. Okay. Like if this is all you used, this would definitely get the job done. But we sent out this website here earlier today, and it gives you step-by-step instructions on how to install it. And it also even has a video on everything that's included in it. It's a simple calculator. I'm going to go through it tonight on this call, and it tells you what the benefits are. Okay, here's a video, and then it teaches you about each aspect of the calculator. It's really cool, right? Now, you don't have to read all this and go through all of it. There's only a few basic things you need to know, but just so you know, this is the one that we're going to look at. All right, so we're going to go straight to the chart. Okay, so now I'm looking at GBP JPY. Now, you have to install this on your chart to get to this point. And so I'm starting from the point where it's already installed. Okay, I just reinstalled it tonight. So it's right here on the chart, right here. When you install it, it gets installed to the corner of your chart and it stays right there. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to open it up and we're going to look at using it. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be zooming in on the zoom, no pun intended. I'm going to be using my magnifier so that we can get a really nice up close view of what that is. So just out of, let me check real quick. When I zoom in, like right now I'm zoomed in. Tim, can you see it really close zoomed in now because I'm zoomed in?
Yeah, I can see the whole thing for sure.
Okay. So,
And
but
one thing I
but
want to point out
is
real
it
quick
is
before
it
you get
taking up
started.
most of the screen?
Yeah, it's taking up most of the screen.
Okay. All right. So I am zoomed in. All right. Go ahead.
And if I could point something out real quick, guys, I just want to let you know this is not an execution calculator. You cannot execute your trade from this calculator. All this calculator will tell you your lot size based on the parameters that you put in. There are some calculators that you can execute trades from them. This is not a calculator that allows you to do that. It's simply for lot size calculation. That is it. So I want you guys to know that ahead of time. You still have to go in and execute the trade yourself from your one-click trade or whatever, however you do it. So just wanted to go ahead and let you guys know
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. So good point there. So what this does, folks, is that it automatically calculates your lot size. So let me show you how this works real quick. I'm going to do a quick demonstration so we can see where price is at. Okay. Now, first off, here's what we're going to agree on. Your stop loss, which you should always use. And the beautiful thing is, guess what? If you don't have a stop loss, then the calculator won't work. You have to choose where you're going to have a stop loss in order for the calculator to actually work. That's why that's amazing. But let me explain something. Your stop loss, there's different places to put your stop loss. But for tonight's purposes, okay, we're going to just assume that we're always putting our stop loss above or below the last swing low or swing high. So what that means is we could see that GBP JPY produced a beautiful buy alert right here. Okay. I would have my stop loss right here. Now, just understand that you can have it a little bit closer than that. All you need to really make sure on the buy side is that it's below the last swing low, right? So you could have it like butted up against it, like right there. I like giving my stop loss a little bit more room. Now, let me tell you, by moving your stop loss a little bit further down, what that does is it increases your setup size, which decreases your RR plan. It decreases your potential for profit. That's the downside to that. The upside is that if you just get a little wick sometimes where it's coming down to test like a double bottom, it won't take you out and it'll keep you in a trade. Now, that's all just a matter of preference. You have Coach Tim. Coach Tim likes using super tight stop losses. He'll have his stop loss right up against the swing low there. And so he'll get taken out more often. But guess what? His RR is bigger. When he's in profit, it's a lot more profit. And so that's just a matter of preference. But the whole point that we're agreeing on tonight is that whether you want it really close or you want a little bit of a gap, it's going to be below the swing low or above the swing high. Okay, if you were to get a sell alert up here, then your stop loss would be somewhere around here. Now, one thing that you have to understand is on the buy side, you don't necessarily need to account for spread as much as on the sell side. Why is that? It's because price is connected to your bid line, right? So spread is the gap between your ask line, which is the top line, and your bid line, which is the bottom line that's showing where the price is at, right? So on the buy side, the actual price has to go down to hit your stop loss in order to take you out. On the sell side, the ask line, which is at the top, if the top line, which is a little bit away from the price, if the top line hits your stop loss, it'll take you out, even if the actual price didn't actually get there because of the spread, right? So that, what does that mean? It means that on the sell alerts, your stop loss does need to be a little bit further up above the swing high to accommodate for that gap in the spread Tomorrow, Coach Tim is going to go over the importance of knowing how to work with what kind of spread you have on your charts. That's critical to your trading success, right? Because you don't want to get taken out when there was no reason to get taken out. Okay. So, but for this training here, we're going to agree that we're going to always use the swing low and the swing high to calculate our stop losses, where those lines are at. All right. So now watch this. So we could see that price right now is around right here on this chart. Let's assume that we want to set up for a buy trade. And I'm going to show you two different types of buy trades. One is going to be what's called a market order, also commonly referred to as market execution. All that means is that you're getting into the trade at where the price is at right now. That's called a market order. It means like immediate execution. The second type of trade I'm going to show you tonight is a limit order, which means you choose where the price needs to get to before your trade gets activated. And it may never get there. That trade may never get activated. But if it does get activated, it's a spot that you have more confidence in. You like that price better. It's a better deal. Where would that be? Well, obviously that would be on these pullback entries, right? You could pre-configure your trades to automatically get activated and automatically have a stop loss with the position size calculator and by setting up a limit order, right? And again, when we start talking about automation, where you're pre-configuring your trades, your emotions go way down. Heck, you'll get to a point where an alert pops in, you go in, you set up your limit orders at the pullback entry prices, they already have your stop losses, you walk away. And I've done that before. Think about this. I've had times where an alert pops in on GJ, GA, US 30, all three charts, an alert pops in. I'll go in, I'll set up limit orders on all three charts. They already have my stop losses. I'll do it all in like 3 minutes. I walk away, I'm done. I'll come back 3-4 hours later, and those prices, those trades got activated because price did come down to hit the entries, and I'm in a whole bunch of profit, right? Literally thousands of dollars in profit, and it took me 3 minutes of work. So think about the quality of life when you trade like that versus sitting there, not using a stop loss, staring at the charts all day, getting all stressed out, panicking. That's not good for your heart, and it's not good for the hair on top of your head, right? Both for the color and both for the thickness, right? You don't need to stress yourself out unnecessarily. So the first type of trade I'm going to show you here is called market execution or market order. That means we're going to look to measure a trade with where the price is at right now. Now watch this. Once you have your stop loss, once you have your position size calculator installed, let's go ahead and zoom in on that. Now, the position size calculator has settings, and you can pre-configure the settings in the calculator. One of the most important settings is right here, this box right here that says your risk percentage. So right now I have it set to 1%. I could double click that and I could change it to whatever I want. I could change it to 0.5%, 2%, 0.25%, whatever. It doesn't matter. I have it set to 1%. Okay. Now I have it permanently set to 1%. That means every time I load the chart with the calculator on it, it's automatically going to change it to 1%, right? How do you access the settings? Just like how you access the settings on the Rev Alerts. You right click, you go to indicators list, and here's the lot size calculator right there. MQLTA right here. Boom, MT4 lot size calculator. I double click on that. It brings up the menu. Now, the only settings I worry about on this whole thing is my stop loss type. I have it set to price instead of points because I don't deal with points. I just want to know price. All I care about is my balance. All I care about is the price on the chart. Okay, the other thing is right here, because I don't deal with points, it says show stop loss and take profit points. No, I turn that from true to false because I don't care about points. I also use these different types of colors. In fact, my take profit line should be set to this blue right here. And then the last thing is the font size, just because I'm a blind guy who has a hard time seeing. I changed the font size from 8 to 9. And that's it. Okay, and I click OK. And that's it. All right. And then from there, you could open up the menu and you can play around with this. Now, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you what should my lot size be. Can someone tell me in the chat right now, how would you know what my lot size should be if I'm going to get in right here and my stop loss is going to be down here? How else do you calculate your lot size? Right? The point is, especially for most of you, it's really difficult and it's confusing. And guess what? You don't need to be doing a bunch of math. This calculator automates the process. So how does it automate it? This is how it works. So we're going to go to the lot size calculator. And the first thing I'm going to make sure is, okay, I'm looking to take a buy. So look, I could change that from buy to sell, right? By clicking on that. So we're looking to take a buy. So I have that clicked to buy. And then also, what kind of order am I doing? Am I doing a market order, or am I doing a buy stop, or am I doing a buy limit? I'm doing a buy market order, right? Which is instant execution. A buy stop order is if I need price to go up to hit my buy. So let's say it's like a breakout strategy. It's like, oh, if price gets to here, then that's a breakout. It's making a new high. I believe it's going to take off even higher from there. That's a buy stop. Okay. A buy limit is if I need price to come down to get into my buy, right? And that would be at the pullback entries. Those are great places to put limit orders in. But for now, we're going to do instant execution, which is a buy market order. Now, look, a lot of this is new for you guys. A lot of you on the call, you're not accustomed to this. I always say this: be patient with yourself and practice. If this is confusing, well, it was confusing for me. It's confusing for everyone in the world when they start using it, right? Just like you learned the English language or the Spanish language, just like you learned how to walk, just like how you learned how to eat, just like how you learned how to drive a car. Everything takes a little bit of time to learn, but this is what's going to take you from being an amateur who's gambling on the charts, who doesn't have any chance of being profitable because you're not calculating your trades. You don't have a proper plan, so it's impossible to succeed. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. This is going to take you from being that person to being a total pro, to being a person who knows without a shadow of a doubt that you can be profitable, right? So it's worth it, right? Because you could generate wealth. You could change your family's financial destiny and future because of these simple little things that you're learning. So we have it buy and we have market. We already see that we're risking 1%. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to choose where to put my stop loss, because the calculator doesn't know what lot size to get me in at if it doesn't know where my stop loss is going to be. All right. So I'm going to take out the zoom because I want to show you, as soon as I click stop loss price, SL price right here, as soon as I click that, you're going to see a red line pop onto the chart. And that's because I have my settings set to the stop loss line being red. Now watch this. I click on it. There it is. So now let me zoom in so that you guys can see it. It's right here. Look, it says loss right there in this box. Okay. And there's a red line. Now this is a temporary line that's on the chart. So what I have to do after I clicked stop loss price and the red line pops onto the chart. Now watch this. Look at my lot size right here. Recommended lot size. It says 1.6. I'm going to move the stop loss to just below the swing low, which is where I want it. So that's where my stop loss would be. Now watch this. I guarantee you that stop loss probably went smaller. Look at that, 0.16, right? I couldn't have guessed that. I couldn't have calculated that. I'm not even that good at trading math. I'm not. I'm actually still learning that. But with these types of tools, I don't care anymore because it automates it. So it's telling me that based on where the price is at right now, that the recommended lot size is 0.16. That means if I press the buy button right here with and I make sure that my one-click trade menu has a 0.16 lot size in there, and then guess what I do? I drag my stop loss down after getting into the trade right to that line with a 0.16. Guess what that's going to give me? That's going to give me a setup on this trade of exactly 1% risk of my balance. Now, this is a demo account that I have set up just for this call. I opened up a smaller demo account, right? Just to use a balance that's a little more relatable here. So you can see right here, what it's saying is it's going to risk 1% of $5,000 with a 0.16 lot size, right? Which is how much? $50. So it's automatically telling me that it's going to risk $50 with a 0.16 lot size. Now look at that. It just changed to 0.15. Why is that? Because the price is moving. It's automatically moving, which is automatically adjusting the the lot size. It's automatically changing the lot size for me because it sees my desired stop loss and it's looking at where the price is at, right? So it's automatically updating itself. So now what do I do from here? Okay, once I have that line right there, right, that really takes a half of a second to click stop loss and drag the line. That's it. You're done. All right. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up the one-click trade menu like I always do. What am I going to put inside here? Simple. I'm going to put exactly what it's saying I should put. A 0.15. 0.15. There it is. And then what I do? I click buy because I'm ready to get into the trade, right? So I'm going to click buy. Boom. I'm doing it the way it's telling me to do it. Now what I do is I go to my entry and I'm going to drag my stop loss to where? To the stop loss line. Guess what? I'm done. I just calculated a perfect 1% risk of my account, a $50 risk on my account. And I wouldn't have been able to guess that it should have been a 0.15 lot size. I had no idea, right? But guess what? Now I'm confident that I could let this trade run because the worst case scenario is that I lose 1% of my account, which is what? $50. Okay. Now, let's say we want to set up one of those pullback entry lines. Now, what do we do? Okay. To get to pre-configure a pullback entry line, what you want to do is go to your lot size calculator. All right. So we're going to go back. So I already have one trade in there that's running. And I'm going to zoom back in here. Now, in order to put a limit order in is what we want to do, right? If we want to say, okay, I only want to trade the pullbacks, or I want to get in right away on an alert, and I also want to trade the pullbacks, right? However you want to do it is fine. But watch this. It's going to tell me to increase my lot size because the setup, which is the gap between my entry and my stop loss, is a lot smaller. But I still want to risk 1%. Why? Because I'm a professional. And what's most important about consistency when it comes to trading is that your risk per trade in terms of the percentage of risk based on your account balance stays the same. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to my lot size calculator. I want to get into a limit order right there. So I want to get into a buy limit. So what I'm going to do first is what I'm going to click on is my stop loss price. Okay. My stop loss price. Now let me go back to the red line. And I'm going to drag that right to the exact same stop loss. Okay. Now, when I clicked on limit order, it popped up this green dashed line. Okay. Now, what is that? What is that line for? That's I'm going to drag that line to, guess what? The pullback entry. So I could drag it either to the first pullback or I can drag it to the 75% pullback. What's the difference? The first pullback line is a price action rule. That's pretty reliable. You'll see sometimes price only comes to the first pullback entry line. It's at a very specific level in price based on price action rules on where bears and bulls like to continue to push price in a new direction of trend. Or you can pull it to the second pullback line, which is the exact 75% retracement rule. 75% of what? Of the alert candle and where your stop loss is at. That's the exact calculation. So look, I'm going to drag the green line right there. So I have the green line, which is my entry on the limit order. And then I have the red line, which is my stop loss. So now look at how small that gap is compared to my original entry and the stop loss. Look at how much smaller that gap is. I want to risk 1% of my account on this little tiny setup the same way I risked 1% on this big setup here. All right, so now watch. I'm going to go to the calculator. And remember, it told us to get into a 0.15 lot size on this one. It's going to automatically show a different lot size now. Let's go see what it says. Look at that. It's saying to use a 1.07 lot size on that limit order. So guess what I do? I go to my one-click trade menu and I put in 1.07. Okay, 1.07. Now I'm going to click on that green line there. Actually, I could go now that I knew where it was at. All I need to do is I just moved it out of the way a little bit. I can go to that exact price. Let's see. I'm trying to pull up my let me move this a little bit out of the way. I'm trying to create some space, which most of you know how to put a limit order in.
Sal, you can click anywhere on the chart to do that and then drag it.
Okay, I'll do that then.
Yeah, you can click anywhere to set up the limit.
That thing was in the way.
I would.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I'll do it right here. Perfect. So I moved the lines out of the way just to give myself some space. But look, I'm on the chart. I already know the lot size calculator said that based on that 75% pullback, I need a 1.07 limit order. So I right click on the chart and look, it already has my buy limit set to 1.07. Why is that? Because I already updated the one-click trade menu. So on your limit order, the lot size is always going to reflect whatever you have inside your one-click trade menu. So that's something you have to be sure to always check, right? Because I had to learn that habit where sometimes I didn't change the one-click trade menu and I would set up a limit order, but it was still at my previous lot size, which was 0.15. That's not correct, right? So you change it on the one-click trade menu first, and then that's going to bring up the limit order at the correct price there. Now, guess what I do? I take this and I drag it to that 75 pullback entry, right? Now we want to set the stop loss at the correct price, right? You could pre-configure your stop loss, which is at what price? Well, we already have a stop loss there, right? So what is that price of that stop loss that we already have there? It's, if you look over to the right side, it shows the exact price, 165.921. Okay, 165.921. That's the price of the stop loss. So now I go to my limit order that's not activated yet. I right click on the limit order. I go to modify the buy limit order. Okay, I go to modify. Let me pull off the zoom here. And what was that price again? Remember? 165.921. Okay, 165.921. So I'm going to go, I right clicked on the limit order, and then I'm going to modify it by putting in a stop loss. 165.921 right there. I type that price in because that's where I want the stop loss, and I'm going to click modify. Boom, that's it. I'm done. So now I have a limit order entry with a 1.07 lot size, which is the automatically calculated lot size to risk 1% of my account. If the price comes back and taps on that limit order and activates that trade, it's going to activate it at a 1.07 buy, and my stop loss is right below it. Now, what's the benefit of that? Because I know for some of you, the light bulb hasn't gone off yet for you to understand this. All right, this is the magic of this. Okay. Here's the original entry that I put in, right? Let me get rid of these squiggly lines. Actually, I'm not an artist. Let me grab the straight line. All right. Here's the original entry that we put in right here. Okay. So my first entry, I'm risking 1% between that line there and my stop loss on that original trade. 1% risk. So what does that mean? It means that if the price comes down and hits the stop loss, I'm going to lose 1%. Well, how do I make 1%? Because the goal is to make money. To make 1%, okay, for the most part, I'm not going to get into all the little tiny discrepancies. We're going to talk general tonight. For the most part, in order to make 1%, that means you need price to go up the same distance that the price would have had to go down to hit your stop loss for a 1% loss. You'd need the price to go up. Okay, and I'm just eyeballing it because I'm just trying to teach you something. That's about a 1% gain right there. So that means if the price goes to here, I just gained 1% of profit on my account. If the price goes down to here, I just lost 1% of my account. That's the setup. And you're going to hear us talk about this a lot. What's your setup? Now, here's the magic. The magic is the smaller the setup, the more powerful your trading becomes. Okay, now watch this. I'm just pulling up my tools here. Bear with me. There we go. All right. So now watch this. If price comes back to the pullback entry right there and activates that trade, and then here's my stop loss, look how small that setup is. So if that means if it comes on and activates and then goes down a little further, I'm going to lose 1% of my account. How do I make 1% on this trade though? If price just comes back up to like right here, guess what? I'm already going to make 1% gain on my account. Guess what? If price comes to about right here, that would already be a 2% gain on my account. If price comes to right here, that would already be a 3% gain. If price comes to right here, that would already be a 4% gain. If price gets back close to my original entry, I'm already at a 5% gain on my account. That's a $250 win on one trade on this $5,000 balance. That's the power of using limit orders. That's the power of trading with the pullback entry lines, is that your setup is a lot smaller, but your risk percentage is the same, which means that you're risking the same amount of money like you always do, except now you have potential to where if you go into profit, you'll make way more profit a lot faster. So for those of you, do you remember, let me know in the chat, because I want to make sure you guys know what I'm talking about. How many of you in the chat saw that chart that we released today that showed how the NAS 100 went 71R? Let me know in the chat if you saw that. 71R. Okay, a lot of you saw that. What does that mean? What the heck does that mean? That means that on that trade, okay, this happened in real time. When? Today was the result of that. Today. Okay, in real time. That means if you would have risked a 1% risk at the pullback entry line with your stop loss, in that case, it was a sell. So your stop loss would have been just above the swing high. And if you would have set up this trade with a lot size calculator to tell you what a 1% risk is of your balance, because the calculator is always going to automatically read your account balance, which is beautiful. If you would have risked 1% from the pullback entry to the stop loss on that trade, guess what? It would have activated your limit order and it never would have came back. It would have went into profit. How far in profit? 71 times in profit. That means you could keep drawing these little yellow lines, another percent, another percent, another percent. That means, guess what? On a 1% risk, that one trade today would have netted you a 71% profit on your gross account balance. That means if you had a $10,000 account, just to keep the math easy, that would have been a $7,100 profit on a $10,000 balance, a 71% gain on one trade. That's why I am of the opinion that if you use this strategy we're showing here, you cannot lose. Because guess what? Someone answer this in the chat. If you could make 71% gain with this strategy on one trade, how many trades do you have to lose 1% on in order to lose 71%? If you're risking 1% per trade, how many trades do you need to lose in a row to lose 71%? Exactly. Look at the chat. Okay. You have to lose 71 trades in a row in order to lose all that profit. Okay. Now that's in a perfect world. That's if you would have held on to the trade to the maximum growth. So look, we're practical. We're realistic, right? What if you would have only held on for like 20% of that? That's easy to do. Holding on for 20% of a move is actually, you could do that every single day. What's 20% of 71? That's 14.2, right? So that would have been a 14.2% gain on that one trade. So how many trades do you have to lose in order to lose 14%? You have to lose over 14 trades. So when you look at the Rev alerts, you tell me, how many times do you see 14 losses in a row on the Rev alerts? Tell me in the chat, right? Because I want to see if your opinion is the same as mine. How often do you see 14 losses in a row? It doesn't happen, folks. You may lose 3. You may lose 5. Heck, you may lose 7. I don't know if I've ever seen 7 losses, but it's possible. But do you think you're going to lose 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 trades in a row? No. That's not the system's way more accurate than that. In fact, I'm of the belief that it's highly accurate. But you have to understand that you could still lose 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 trades. And if you're using this system, you'll still compound your trades like crazy. Like crazy. Okay. And this is a skill. It's a skill to learn how to hold on to your trades. I've learned that skill. I've held on to trades now for days at a time. And I've had trades go 100R, 150R, 175R. I've had a trade that I left open. It went over 200R, right? It only took about 3.5 days, but it went 200R. That means my risk percentage, I made 200 times profit on that trade, right? And now it gives you such a huge cushion, right? To where you can increase your risk and start compounding even faster. Now, here's the last thing I'm going to show you on this training is that, guess what? Your lot size on Forex pairs like GBP, JPY, GBP, AUD, right? Those are Forex. Those are foreign exchange currency pairs. The contract size, meaning the price and the way those instruments move, are different than, let's say, US 30 and the NAS 100, which are indices. The lot size is completely different. Guess what else they're different from? They're different from metals like gold, right? We have 5 charts. We're currently testing a few more, but we have 5 charts that we promote. GBP, JPY, GBP, AUD, XAU, USD, which is gold, US 30 and NAS 100, which are both indices on the 1-minute charts, right? Indices are 1 minute. Forex and gold are on the 5-minute charts. Let me touch on that real quick. As you become a professional, you'll learn the importance of diversification. Like, I'll say this, look, today, the morning was insane, right? I mean, just from like the end of London session going into New York, the first half of New York. I mean, man, people, we had a person today, no joke, right? Some of you know who I'm talking about. We had a gentleman today. He made over $480,000 today on his live account just trading alerts, right? He traded 8 alerts, and then he also traded the market open call. He made 480 grand on his live account today. I mean, the excitement, everybody was crushing it, right? And then guess what? In the afternoon, which is always not an ideal time to trade no matter what, because London goes to sleep. That's where all the major volume is at. Asia's asleep. And then you have the second half of the day for New York. Volume goes down, right? So that's going to affect the accuracy and quality of the alerts always. But in the afternoon, US 30 started to spit out several buy alerts, even though the market was extremely bearish, right? And there's a lot of new people in the community. Guess what? New people don't know yet. The ribbon trend. Do you know why we have the ribbon trend on the charts? Why that's a setting? It's for trendy days like today, to where you take a trade in the color of the ribbon and let it ride, right? So you would have taken a sell because the ribbon was red most of the day, and you could have been in the sell for most of the day and capitalized on that whole move, right? But we're going to get into that. We're going to show you how to do that, how to do it at the right time, how to protect yourself, right? But we have tools where you can crush it at any market condition. But my whole point is that US 30 spit out probably 8 buy alerts in a few hours. Most of them went against the trend, right? Because these are reversal alerts. And there were people that they were only trading US 30 and they were taking losses. Now, people were not, most of them were not using a lot size calculator. So they were probably losing more than what they would desire to lose. But guess what? Here's what I want to tell you. If that was you today, if you were using a lot size calculator and you had a proper risk to reward plan, even if you would have lost all eight trades in a row, which once you learn how to trade, you'll see your accuracy and your win ratio will go way up. But even if you lost all 8 trades in a row, it shouldn't have phased you. Straight up. It shouldn't even have wiped away your profit that you had in the morning when you learn how to properly trade, right? I was profitable today. And I didn't want to share that in a lot of the chats because we have new traders and I'm not trying to rub it in their face, but it's a skill set. And so on a day like today, if you lost, guess what? You could have been a winner today. You could have been a winner. Now, one of the keys to winning in finances is diversification, right? You've heard that. Diversification is so important. That's why we promote 5 charts. Okay. I don't get stuck on one chart. If you would have looked at the alerts today from GBP AUD, GJ, gold, and even the NAS did way better than US 30 in the afternoon. All the other alerts were just ridiculously amazing. There's a reason why we have 2 Forex charts, a metals chart, and 2 indices charts. That's to help you have a diversified trading plan so that if there's one chart like US 30 that's spitting out alerts that are contrary to the trend and you're not trading with the trend, guess what? Like if you don't want to do the ribbon strategy, you could just trade all the other alerts on all the other charts. Now, when you first start trading, that could be a little bit overwhelming because you're like, man, how do I manage multiple trades and all that? Guess what? The lot size calculator, pre-configuring your pullback entries makes it easy. Look at how much time we've had here. I put in this buy limit order on GBP JPY with my stop loss, and look how long we've been sitting here. It's been like 15 minutes and it still hasn't activated the order. Guess what that tells you? That tells you that if you use this strategy, you can trade all 5 charts because you can go and set up your limit orders on all the charts whenever alerts come out, and you have plenty of time to pop the trade in there and then wait for price to hit that or walk away and you're done. And you could trade all 5 charts. If you trade like that, you'll always get the best alerts of the day. Now, the lot sizes are completely different though, right? Like US 30, you're going to use a really small lot size. On Forex, you're going to use the biggest lot size. And then on gold, it's kind of an in-between lot size. Guess what? The position size calculator automatically adjusts for every single instrument. So remember how it said to put a 0.15 and then a 1.07. If I were to go to US 30, okay? If I go to US 30, and I'm going to zoom in here, and we're going to do let's say we're going to do a market order sell. Let me shrink the candles here so we can see it. Okay, I'm going to bring this up. And I'm going to switch this to sell, and we're going to do a market order sell. Okay, and then I'm going to take my stop loss here. Here it popped onto the chart. And let's say I want my stop loss to be like right there. And we're going to get in on a market order right where price is at. Look at that, 0.04.
Hey, Sal.
Look how much. Yes, go ahead,
All right,
Tim.
buddy. Real quick, I got a question about the loss that's showing up on the position size calculator where it says possible loss 1,056. Obviously, that is incorrect. Where that's coming from is right under where it says position size. It says 1.0. That's where that's coming from. So if you actually click on recommended lot size lots, click on the 0.03, it'll put it right there. And then that makes the possible loss accurate.
Bam.
I've had some people that have asked about that, little concerned, like, what does this mean? Why is it saying that? You know, so just wanted to clear that up with everybody that when it says possible loss, it's not accurate unless you actually click the recommended lot size for it to show up
Bam.
right there under the position size tab. So just wanted to clear that up and ease some folks' minds that may be a little concerned about, am I really in a $50 stop loss, or is this thing going to kill me by $1,000? So just we would hate to see that happen.
Yeah.
Also,
and look at that. Look what it's doing. It's automatically changing it based on where the stop loss is at. And look at that. It's also automatically moving my lot size. I went from 0.04 down to 0.02 because price is moving away, which is a bigger setup, which means you need a smaller lot size.
and also, Sal, when you get a chance to go back to GJ, I know you're working with the indices right now. When you get a chance to go back to GJ for the pullback entry to really sink in, I think it would be cool if you put the profit line on the charts and showed the difference between the market execution higher up versus the pullback entry profits.
That's powerful. I like that.
So that people can actually see dollar amounts.
Yep. That's a great suggestion. Very good. Let me ask you this, Coach Tim, because you've been here, and I mean, you've been such a contributing factor to this. Are you in a position where if I pass the screen share over to you, you can pull up some of those examples and show the dollar amounts and prices?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let's go ahead and do that. So I'm on indices, folks, and you can see it has my lot size really small here at 0.02. If price continues to move further down away from my stop loss, which means my setup becomes bigger, I bet you'll see this thing change to 0.01, right? And some of you are going to realize when you install this on your chart, some of you are going to realize that you're better off trading on a mini chart if you're trading with a smaller balance, because guess what? If you want to get in right away, plus put in some limit orders, you're putting in multiple trades, right? If you're putting in multiple trades, then you need to divide up your lot size. Well, if you're stuck at a 0.01 or 0.02, you don't have a lot of wiggle room to put in multiple limit orders because you're already over leveraging your account, right? You're going to want to use a mini chart. So with that being said, oh, look at that. We just got a yellow sell alert on US 30. Cool. So if I were to get in right there, it's saying I would risk $73 with a 0.02 lot size. All right. So I'm going to stop the share right there though. And I'm going to pass it off to Coach Tim. He'll be able to share his screen and show you the difference. And again, I could give Tim so much credit. You know, I listen. Okay. If any of you talk to me and you guys have ideas or suggestions, I learned a long time ago that a great leader is one who listens to his community. And you don't know it all, right? Like there's a lot that I don't know. And so I'm always open-minded and stuff. And there's a lot, like even the RR plan, again, that was something that Tim was just really adamant about. He kept saying like, look, you know, let's calculate the RR on these trades. And you know what that did is it got us to a point where oh my gosh, I think you guys can do like 1,000 R per month. I truly believe that. That means whatever you're risking, like let's say you choose to risk 1% per trade. I believe that if you trade consistently with this plan here using the calculator and proper lot size, and you have stop losses on all your accounts, I believe you can hit 1,000 R per month, meaning I believe you can grow 1,000% a month on your account. Okay. And just so you know, we've already had people that have made more than that. Okay. So it's definitely possible. There we go. I see the screen is being shared and voila.
Cool. Awesome. Let me go ahead and throw this lot size calculator on my charts real quick because I've been using another one that's a lot more complicated. So I'll go ahead and do my settings here.
Let us know in the chat if you're getting value from this, if you're learning new things that you didn't know about before, if you're going to go back and watch this video. Right? Isn't it cool to have a tool that automatically tells you your lot size and you could have the confidence knowing that that's going to give you the exact risk that you need? Right? You're going to go from an amateur to a professional.
So I'm going to go over the 1 to 71 R today. And actually ended up going more than that. It was probably like 85 or 90 because price kept dropping. So pretty wild on this NAS trade. And I'm just going to go over the difference between taking an entry at the alert candle versus taking an entry at the 75. And if you'll notice, I still don't have the updated rev on my charts because I don't want my charts to reset for testing purposes. So I have not even updated it on this demo account yet, but I did drag this line down to match the 75. So if you see that my lines look a little different, that's why. I just don't want my charts to reset because I'm still testing stuff. Here we go. Stop loss price. All right, we're going to do a sell. Stop loss price, which I have no idea where that is actually. It's probably further down. So let me go ahead and just enter this in here. We're around 11,834. All right, there we go. There's that. So let me just put this a little above here. You know how guys, you know how I am about tight stops, just the way I roll. Shoot. Oh, yeah, that's what it is. I'm doing market. I need to do limit. Sorry, guys. Stop loss price. Let me redo this again. 3. There it is. That around there. I want my limit to be, and my colors are a little different than Sal's, but my limit's going to go right here. I don't know if you guys can see that gray line or not. I hope you can. Can you see that, Sal?
Yeah, I could see it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. I'm also going to do my profit target. Man, it looks like those are the same color. Let me just double check this real quick. Nope, it's all the way down here. That's what it is. Awesome. All right, so I want to take my take profit and put it all the way down here at the very bottom. Now, obviously, guys, this is just for demonstration purposes. There's no possible way you're going to know that the market's going to stop here, and that's where your take profit is going to be. There's just no way. So we're not going to, just for the sake of the demonstration, let's just say that we have a crystal ball and we knew going into it that's exactly where it was going to turn around. So let me zoom in here.
Yeah. Now let me say on that point, okay, because we're gonna actually teach the community this. Check this out. When you learn how to either take 2 trades, close one of them at your desired profit, and then leave the other one and just let it run indefinitely, or if you learn how to take a trade and then close half of it when you're in profit and then leave the other half to run indefinitely, let me know in the chat if you understand what that means of leaving one trade open while closing the other one and you leave it indefinitely. Could that allow you to catch 40R, 60R, 80R trades by doing that? Think about that. Right? And so the truth is you can catch those moves. You can get a 71% gain or a 40% gain or a 25% gain on one trade. All you have to do is plan ahead. You just say, okay, I'm going to set myself up for that potential by taking more than one trade or by closing a partial. Okay. And we're going to teach you how to do that so that we can have some incredible potential inside your gains.
All right, guys, let me redo this. I was just making the font size bigger so that you guys can see this much better. All right. And take profit all the way down here in another country. All right, there we go. All right, all the parameters are set up. So I want you guys to notice stop loss is placed just above the sell. All right, just above the high. Taking this trade based on the alert candle, which was still a fantastic trade. You can't go wrong. Was it 27.43 R? Risking 0.25% on this account was a $33,000 profit on a $5,000 account.
Whoa. Okay. Hold on a second. Say that again.
Actually, man, this needs to be on the mini. I forgot. This is this account size is way. Sorry, guys. Man, I'm all kinds of mixed up today. This needs to be on a mini. This account size will not. This account size will not work on the regular NIS. Give me just 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just a regular guy over here, and I do stupid things sometimes. All right, let me pull this up. Man, my chart's going to reset. Let me just open a new chart.
But Tim, don't you need, just real quick, you didn't click the 0.01 recommended lot. It was still I think it was calculating still based on that one lot that was in the middle.
Yeah, but it was also, it's not the mini, so it's also calculating based on if I had a large account balance and
Okay.
so like I'll show you, hang on one second. Even if I did click the 0.01,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that it would still be, man, I got so many tabs open testing so many things. So let's see here. Oh, you know what? How? Okay,
Yeah.
you're exactly right. Wow, thank you. You saved me. I don't know what I was thinking there.
Yeah, no worries.
Appreciate that. Yeah, see, good thing I got these guys on my in my corner, man. We're a team, so they
Yeah,
they
for
help me a
sure.
lot too. So yeah, here we go. $5,000 account, 0.25 risk. Okay, this is not a big risk. If you guys are running personal accounts, I mean, you can run it as much as you want to. I mean, don't get crazy with it, but I know a lot of you are on prop firm accounts, so 0.25 is a very, very good risk for funded accounts. On a 0.25 risk, you're looking at making $332 on this trade if you held it from beginning to end. All right. That's a pretty good trade. That's a good return.
And that's only, so you're saying you're only risking $12, but the profit is $332 compared to a $12 risk.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right. And you're risking only it's really a 1/4%. It's not even a 0.5%. It's a 1/4%.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's 1/4%. Yep.
Yeah.
Did I say 0.5%?
No, you said 0.25, but sometimes it's, I just wanted to make sure
Gotcha.
people understand it's not even close. It's not even 2.5%, because sometimes people think automatically, because we're always talking about a 3% risk or 1%, to understand that this is a 1/4%. It's not even, it's very little risk.
Yeah, very little. And it's good for people that take a ton of trades and you may absorb some losses, and having a lower risk helps you to absorb those losses much easier. So if you're risking 1% and you take 7, 8, 9 losses in a row, like you could have today on US 30, it might be tough for some people to see that you're down 7, 8, 9, 10% on your account. That may be psychologically hard for some people to swallow. So lowering your risk, again, what Sal is always preaching, is it helps stress. And that's a huge component when it comes to trading, is you don't want to be stressed out when you're trading. So back to this 1/4% risk. You made $332 if you took this trade from the alert candle. Now, watch the exponential growth of your profits when you take a pullback entry and significantly reduce your stop loss. All right, here we go. Take us all the way up to the 75. Drop it there. And now your risk reward went to 1 to 92 RR. Your profit went from $330 to $1,362, pretty much on the exact same trade. Same alert, 4 times the profit.
So on that one, you're risking $14, but your gain $1,362. So, and Tim, how many candles did you have to wait to change that from a $300 gain to a $1,300 gain? How many more candles did you have to wait?
From here to here for your entry was 8 minutes.
So in 8 minutes, it went from a 27R setup, which is already ridiculous, to a 92R result. Right. So if you were to say that in another way, Tim, would you say that if you won that trade, so you won a 92R trade, and you continued to risk 1/4%, would you have to then lose 92 trades in a row in order to lose all that profit?
Yeah, exactly. It basically gives you a 92 trade loss cushion.
Geez.
And at that point, and I don't, again, as much as we want to teach you guys how to win trades, we also want to teach you how to lose trades responsibly. That's a big thing. I've said it before, the name of the game is to stay in the game. And if you don't responsibly know how to take losses, it's hard to stay in the game, okay? This is huge. Knowing how to take losses and for them not to dramatically impact your overall balance and your psychology. So, I mean, these pullback entries we've been testing them, and you guys have heard me say it over and over and over. I love the pullbacks, pretty much all I trade. But if you get trades like these, this allows you so much freedom and flexibility moving forward. If you were to have a 92-hour trade today, let's cut it into a quarter. Let's say you had a 22-hour trade or a 25-hour trade. That allows you, that kind of opens you up to possibly be a little bit more aggressive on your next couple of alerts if you're trying to really bank some profit. So you could bump up your risk to 0.5%, maybe even 1%, because if you lose a couple of those trades, it's really not hurting you. So just having that flexibility, it eases your mind, it lowers your stress, but it also gives you the capability of increasing your profits even more. So there's just so many benefits to having these tight setups and these big risk reward trades. And if we want to even take this up to 1%, it's basically what it is times 4, pretty simple. So your risk would be $55. The alert candle, you would have made $1,661. Pretty good trade, right? Pretty good on a $5,000 account. I don't think anybody would argue with that. But if you take it back up here to the 75 again, you made $5,451. You basically doubled your account.
Doubled your account in one trade.
One trade, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of this is just for the sake of illustration. Obviously, you don't know where the market's going to turn around. There's no way to pinpoint exactly 93R. But this is the potential. And these trades happen every single day. Every day. I post them since we've opened the Telegram chat. I've been posting these trades multiple times a day. You guys have seen it. If you're in the Telegram, you guys have seen them. You've seen Sal's screenshots. He's been taking them. I know there's a screenshot, a couple of them from Davies earlier. It looked like he had taken a couple of those pullbacks. I know he kind of does his own thing a little bit. It's working for him. But it looked like some of his trades were in that pullback area as well. And we all know what kind of money he's making. And so this is every day, guys. You can absorb these losses by just taking these trades. Just keep on taking them. Keep on taking them. I can't stress that enough. I know you don't get discouraged when you go through a few losses, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen, but just got to stay the course, stick to your plan, and just keep on trading.
Now, Tim, someone was asking if you could show an example of doing this exact same thing, but on a mini chart, so they could see the difference in setup and lot size.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me go to this NAS mini over here. Let me get my 150 charts. So many charts, guys. I'm testing literally every single pair to see which ones pan out with Rev and which ones don't. Because I'm trying to find some hidden gems in there to add some more opportunities for us. And Sal's, he's always testing things. I'm always testing things. So, all right, here we go. Whoa, what happened? Oh, okay. I'm so used to TradingView that I'm still trying to get used to using MT4 for almost everything. All right, let me measure this out again, because I do not have the updated Rev on here. So I'm just going to measure this out. Pull this line down to 75. Delete this.
Now, Tim, were you born with these skills, like out of the mother's womb?
Oh, I'm a natural, man, of course.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
When I'm watching you navigate, I figured he must have been born with it.
No, this is about 8 years worth of trial and error and losing. Going through a lot of pain and suffering and questioning your manhood many, many times.
Hey, well, looking back, for those that are new, is trading worth it? Are you glad that you stuck it out till now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, if for nothing else, trading has brought me friends that I never would have met otherwise. Sal, I never would have met you if it weren't for trading. I've got other friends, other people in my life that I never would have met if it wasn't for trading. I've made connections that I never would have made if it weren't for trading and just being in the community of traders. And you never know what kind of connections you're going to make with people that lead to opportunities, you know? So
Mm,
if nothing, man, trading's been worth it from that regard. Absolutely.
yeah,
So,
that's a good point.
all right, here we go, guys. Let's do this again. Bear with me while I get my stuff typed in here. So, all right, I made my line yellow this time, so hopefully it's a little easier for you guys to see. And stop loss price. This calculator is so simple. I mean, when you're actually on the charts where the price is actually currently at, you don't have to go through all this. But since I went so far back in the charts, when I click the current price and stop loss price, it's going to put it near where price currently is, and I'm not there, so this is taking a little more work than it normally would. Stop loss, right back up there, and take profit price, which is pretty much going to be the same. So drag that down. There we go. Good enough right there. Let's go back. I don't know why everything just disappeared, but it did.
Yeah, it only has your entry.
Yeah, it's acting a little weird right now. So give me one
No,
second.
because I think if you click the stop SL price a second time, it resets it. So you're just doing that, but you could drag it up, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're both down there on the chart.
Yeah, just drag it up.
Yeah, without it, you don't even have to zoom in.
I see that. Yeah. It's not even letting me click it. I don't know what's going on here because I click stop loss price and it's not even doing anything. Calculator's being a little wonky right now. There we go. Oh, this is from, sorry guys, this is actually from my other position calculator that is on my charts. And I can't get to it. Let me delete this real quick. There we go. Oh, this is taking a little bit longer than we would have liked.
Yeah, it's all good though. This is critical to just show the maneuverability of it and practice here. And then people also, Coach Tim, they're asking after this if you could show on a sample trade how to close a partial.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and while Tim's setting that up, folks, for those of you that are asking about how to manage a trailing stop, of course, there's different ways, right? Like you could just set your trailing stop to a certain amount of points that you're comfortable with. What I like doing personally is once you know your amount of risk, for example, let's say you're risking $50 or you're risking $15, whatever your risk is, then understand that your risk equals 1 unit of R, 1 unit of R, okay? Risk to reward. So $15 equals 1. And then let's say $15 of profit equals 1. That's 1 to 1. $30 of profit with a $15 risk would be what? 1 to 2, right? The whole point is that you understand that for every additional $15 unit, that represents 1 more unit of R because that's what your risk is. So the way I like to do my trails, and this has allowed me to catch some huge trades, is I go like this. If I get to a 2R profit, then I move my stop loss to break even. If I go to a 3R profit, which is $45, if I'm risking 15, then I move to a 1R profit guarantee. If I go to 6R profit, then guess what? I move the stop loss to a 4R guaranteed profit. So I'm always trailing by 2R. And that's to make sure that I have enough breathing room for the trade to keep going, to not stop me out. Sometimes I've thought about changing that to a 3R trail, but I wouldn't want to wait for 3R before going to break even. But that's another way to move. You know, when you move your stop loss, it'll automatically show you your guaranteed profit right on your MT4 chart. So you could just slowly trail it according to your actual RR plan.
Yeah, I agree. And the other day I took a US 30 trade and I was going to I wanted to go to the gym and I'm like, I'm not going to watch this all day. And so I figured the breathing room it needed based on all the pullbacks and for, in my opinion, what I was looking at was about a $50 move. So all I did was say, okay, it's a $50 move. So I'm just going to put the trail at 5,000 points, which is $50 to 5,000 points is the same thing. So I put my trail at 5,000 points and I just went to the gym. And while I was at the gym, I got stopped out and the move went about $150, $200. And then when I came back, it knocked me out at $50 and then just it kept going up and never went back down. So I was glad that while I was at the gym, I stopped out.
Nice. Yeah, that's
Nice.
even more
That's good.
automatic.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's so many ways that you guys can manage trades, but if you're not able to beat the charts, the trailing stop loss is probably the best. Outside of executing 4 different trades on the same trade, 4 different positions, and having your take profit at 4 different locations, that's another way that you can do it. That's very effective as well. But here we are. This is the mini chart. So basically you're going to do the exact same thing. Nothing has changed at all. The only thing that's changing is your lot size. That's pretty much it. It's going to give you basically the same profit and the same loss. So on this one, as opposed to, I don't remember what it was, like 0.04
It was
on
0.01. It was a
0.01
0.01. Yeah.
on the regular.
Yes.
Yeah, and the mini is a much bigger lot size at 1.13. This is for the alert candle entry, and you can see this went $373 in a profit at 26.5 R. So
Wow. That's a huge dollar amount of gain on a mini chart.
and then you take it, move it up to the 75. Your recommended lot size goes to 3.60. Click that, and now you're at $1,220 for an 86.5 R. So the risk reward may be a little bit off because I may not have my stop loss in exactly the same place that I had it on the other chart, which actually
No, the other thing, the reason why, just so everyone knows, in my opinion, why I think the risk to reward is different is also because of spread, not just spread, but also commission. So the commission, you're paying commission on 4 lots, which is insane amount of commission for the same thing you could be trading on a 0.01 on a regular US 30. So in my opinion, if you're going to go over, let's say, half a lot on, or a 1 lot on a mini, don't trade the mini for that particular trade because you're going to be spending a lot of money on commission. That's, so that just be mindful of that. That's why sometimes I think that trading a mini on an account that is maybe $2,000-3,000 is good. When you start getting into $5,000, $8,000, the commissions are going to just eat your lunch.
That's actually a very good point. If your account can handle being on the regular indices charts, definitely do that. And I can actually, if you guys want right now, I can execute the exact same trades with the exact same risk, and we can see the difference in commission. I can do that right now.
Do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right,
and real quick, let me say this real quick, Tim, just to reward the people that are here. For those of you that don't know, I don't mind sharing this now because what I've learned is that it takes time for information to be properly disseminated through the community. We have a large community, and I don't want to wait till the last minute to talk about this and to train on this. I want people to understand what's happening and what's coming. So we're building a trade manager called the Rev Trade Manager. Okay. And what it's going to do is when you get an alert, it's just going to ask you if you want to take the alert. That's it. And if you click the yes button, right, you could say yes or no. If you click the yes button, then it's going to automatically put your entries in, whether you want a market order right away, or if you want to get in on a pullback entry, it'll automatically put the entries in for you at the pullbacks. It'll also automatically set up all your stop losses. all from just a click of a button. And then the stop losses also will be automatic trailing stops, to where if you want to, for example, how I just said, you want to trail by 2R or trail by 3R, right? It'll automatically trail at that level. If you want multiple trades, if you only want one trade, all of that is pre-configured in your settings of the trade manager. And it's going to be so simple to use. All right. So I want to speak real quick to the both types of people. Some people are like, man, this could be complicated. Well, yeah, we're talking about making millions of dollars here. I mean, seriously, like, we're here to make millions of dollars and be wealthy. That's not going to happen with elementary school activities. It's going to take a little bit of learning. And so I encourage you to be willing to learn something new, because there's no greater ROI on planet Earth than learning how to trade. If you learn how to do it effectively, it's just insane, right? Like, come on, we have a guy in the community who made almost $500,000 today in one day. Like, where else can you do that? Is that worth learning something a little bit? But at the same time, we're not going to force complicated stuff on people. Anytime we can leverage technology to simplify, well, of course we're going to do that. We want to make it as easy as possible. So the trade manager will keep you posted. Obviously, it's highly sophisticated. There's nothing else out there on planet Earth that can do that. It'll be a one-click wealth creation system where people will click a button to get into a trade, and it will automatically set everything up, all the stop losses, all the trails, all the profit targets for you. And you know what else that'll do is that'll allow people to trade multiple charts without being overwhelmed, right? Because now if you get an alert on GBP AUD, US 30 and gold all at the same time, you could just click, you're done. And you have, 9 different positions. It's automatically dividing all your positions up based on your risk. So for example, you'll be able to say if you want to risk 1% of your account per alert, and then it'll ask you, okay, well, if you want to risk 1% per alert and you want to take an immediate entry and a limit order, then how much of the 1% do you want to risk on the pullback, and how much of the 1% do you want to risk on the immediate entry, right? You could customize that. You could say, well, I'll risk 0.25% on my immediate entry, and I'll go heavier on the pullback because that's where the juice is at on that RR. So I'll risk 0.75% out of my 1% on that pullback entry. It'll automatically set all that up for you with the click of a button. You'll have your stop losses there. That takes a lot of the emotions out. That automates a lot of your trading experience. That's going to create lifestyle. And at that point, you don't have to worry about being disciplined to stick to the system, because the machine is going to stick to the system for you. The machine's going to do it. It's going to trade perfectly. It's going to be like if you were a robot with no emotions and you were able to execute all your trades to perfection and never over leverage your account and always do the proper risk to reward plan. At that point, it's game over. I mean, that's it. It is game over with this community creating wealth. Okay. And that's coming. That is coming. I will keep you guys posted. It'll be the greatest trading launch that we've ever seen. So, we weren't playing around when I said we were competitive and, we want to dominate. So I'll stop there. Just want to let you guys know what's coming around the corner here, and I'll pass it back to you, Coach Tim.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy. All right. So here we go. I've put in orders on NAS and US 30, both the regular and mini. And this is only a $5,000 chart or $5,000 account, guys. So keep that in consideration. This is a fairly small account size, all things considered. When you guys really get up into big time capital, if you're looking to get funded multiple 6 figures, or, like Davies, if you can go from $3,000 to $7 million, commission is going to be a big deal. So on a $5,000 account, you can see here that the difference between the NAS 100 mini versus the NAS 100 regular is $12 versus $1.60. I'll just basically multiply that times 100 for a $500,000 account. And now you're looking at a $1,200 commission versus, or it's $12,000, $1,200, sorry. Versus $160 commission. That's a big difference. A huge difference. Same thing with US 30. It's actually even cheaper. The regular account's even cheaper. 16 cents commission versus 13.20. So that discrepancy is even larger. So the larger the account is, you definitely do not want to be working on the mini charts because like Coach Mo said, commission will eat at your profits and it can eat at them very substantially. So just to kind of put that out there for you guys to be able to see it. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I hope the screen's clear and it's not too small.
Yeah, no, it looks good. Yeah, we can see all the difference in commissions there on your ledger. And then Coach Tim, can you take one of those trades that has a larger lot size on it and show people how to close a partial? And what this means, ladies and gentlemen, is that if you have a trade running, right, what we want to teach you is how to put some money in your pocket, close a part of the trade, which is called a partial, but then leave some of it running. And that's if you want those huge gains on your account. And the way this works is that if you take partials, then the goal is whatever you have left over. So if you have like a 0.04 or what is the actual lot size there, Tim, for the one that you're going to show?
I'm going to do, this is the US Main, this is a 3.3.
Okay, 3.3. So why don't you show how to close? Let's say you were to close 1.7 of that out of the 3.3.
Oh, sorry. So there's two different ways that you can do this. One is by going down here to your terminal and double clicking on the position itself. And this automatically brings up the chart that you need. It's already here at market execution. Whereas if you were to go here and double click, you actually have to go in and click under type. You have to go in and click market execution in order for it to bring you to the screen that you need to be on. So I personally just like to go to the terminal because it's just one less step I have to worry about. Double click that. And now it brings up this window where it shows volume and shows the close button. These are the main two things that you want to pay attention to is the volume and the close button. That's all you need here. So if you're wanting to close 50% of your trade, which is about 1.7 like Sal said, you just come in here into the volume and you just type in 1.7. That simple. And you click close. Now watch down here. You can also see right here where it says 3.3. You can see it down here where it says 3.3. And I'm negative 26.40 right now on this trade. Now watch what happens when I close 1.7 lots. Boom. I'm now left with 1.6 lots. And my loss has gone from 26. It's closed out about $14 of a loss. And now I'm sitting at negative 12 floating. So it's that simple. That is all there is to it. Come to the terminal, double click it. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Double click it. Now let's say I want to close a third of my trade. I'll go in and type 1 because 1 is a third of 3. Click close. And now you can see right here on NAS Mini, I've gone from 3 lots to 2 lots. That's all there is to it. It's one of the most simple things to execute on the MT4 platform, in my opinion.
So folks, imagine here's how you imagine the power of that. So let's say you're doing a 1% risk on your account. That's the risk per trade. So you're risking 1%. Let's say you're at a 4% gain on that trade as an example. So if you're at 4% floating profit, okay, 4% of gain on the open trade, and you want to close half of it, then how much profit did you just put into your pocket? So you're at 4% floating profit and you want to close half of your trade by doing what Coach Tim just showed. How much money did you just put in your pocket? Exactly. Jeff Finley? Yes. Correct. Boss Francois and Dad and Miss Disney? Correct. 2%. Yes, exactly. So now watch this. So you closed 2% of your 4%. So you just pocketed a 2% gain. But now your lot size, you were risking 1%. Well, that also cut your lot size in half. So it reduces your trade size. So that means that your potential RR on a 1% trade gets reduced down to a 0.5% RR plan. Okay. So that means that if that trade continues to go, like in some of these examples that Tim's showing you, that the trade, you're going to see setups every day that can go 30R, 40R, 60R, 80R, 100R. The Rev alerts are insane. If you learn how to trade them, it's probably one of the most profitable systems in the world right now. I mean, seriously, I've never personally seen anything that's pumping out these types of alerts. But for an example, let's say you close half of the trade, you pocketed 2% in your pocket, but now you have a 0.5% left of risk to reward on your trade that you're risking because you just cut your lot size in half. Your lot size was a 1% risk. Well, when you close half your trade, it also reduces your lot size by half. So that means now it reduces the amount you can lose as well as reducing the amount you can win. So let's say a trade goes 80R and originally you were risking 1% of your account. So 80R would be an 80% gain, but you chose to close half of your trade to pocket 2%. You still have the other 2% in gains, but now for every 1R of gain beyond that, it's going to grow a 0.5% in profit. Well, on an 80R, guess what that does? That means you were at, you still had 76 to go, right? 80 minus 4 because you're already at 4%. Guess what? That's 76R remaining times a 0.5% of risk, which is, guess what? That's like a 38% remaining gain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you understand, you're risking 1% on your account. You're using your calculator. That trade goes to a 4% floating profit. You're like, all right, I'm going to put some money in my pocket. I'm going to close half the trade. Boom. I just pocketed 2% and I'm going to leave 2% open. You were already at a 1 to 4 and that trade was going to go 1 to 80. So that means you still have 76 units of profit left for that market to go in your favor. You're now going to gain a 0.5% for every 1 unit of R because you just went from a 1% to a half size trade, which is a 0.5% now. So now you're going to get a 76R gain times a 0.5%, which is another 38% gain on that trade. That right there, what I just went over, right there, you can catch those moves every single day. How do you catch those moves? Once you close half your trade, the remaining half, you literally forget about it. You look at it like it doesn't exist. And what you do is you move your stop loss to break even. So you move your stop loss just in front of it so that you're not going to lose any money on that. That becomes a risk-free trade, and then forget about it. Pretend like it's not there. Walk away, change the chart, go distract yourself, go do something else. And if you keep doing that, I promise you, because it's inevitable. It's just a matter of time. You're going to have times where you do that and you come back after, watching a movie, doing the dishes, going for a walk, running some errands, taking some other trades on some of the charts. You're going to go and check on that trade and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I just added 26% to my account. Oh my gosh, I just added 44% to my account on that one trade because I decided to close half and move my stop loss. So simple. We want to get you there. It's going to take practice.
Yeah.
And then what that does, for those of you asking, does that reduce your losses that way? It does reduce the potential loss because you're reducing your lot size. But remember, by doing that, you're also, as Tim was saying earlier, you're going to give yourself a cushion to where you just made a 38 times trade. So guess what that means? That means now you'd have to lose 38 trades in a row to lose that profit. It'll never happen. It'll never happen. You'll always be ahead. And that goes back to what I said at the beginning. We will prove to you that if you follow the system, you can't lose. You will be a money-making machine. You can't lose if you follow the system. This is an unbeatable system to generate wealth.
Absolutely. And one thing I just thought about is when you guys get to the point where your account size is multiple 6 figures or even 7 figures and you hit one of these trades, you could literally be done trading for the year if you wanted to do that. Because on those account sizes, I mean, you're making multiple 6 figures. Look at Davies. Dude made over $400,000 today. That is like 10 times the national average income for a year. I don't know what it is exactly. I'm guessing 35 to 40,000. But can you imagine making $450,000 in a single day and then just traveling the world for 6 months before you even have to come back and worry about trading again? Or doing whatever it is you love to do. This can offer you so much freedom. So much. I mean, and it can happen quick. It can happen within a year, 6 months. I mean, I keep going back to Davies, but he's the perfect example of what's possible just by sticking to it. 3,000, 3,000, like 1,500, I believe, right, Sal?
Yeah, he started with $1,500, and I mean, check this out. 4 days ago, he was at 7.2 million. It's been 4 days, so now he's at 8 million. He made over $1 million in the last week, and he started with $1,500. Yeah,
it's insane, absolutely insane. You guys think, what's 10% of $8 million? $800,000. I mean, we have people making 10% a week just on the morning market calls that Coach Mo does, just on that alone. But can you imagine taking one of these trades? You may have to go through a few losses to get to it, but if you hit this trade today and you don't even say, you just cut it off at $800,000 and you're like, all right, I'm at 10%, I'm done. That's good. And you just walk away for the next month or two and go live your life. And you don't have to come back to the charts anytime soon if you don't want to. I mean, that's what it's all about. That's what we're after, you know?